Melio and Plastiq are two of the most popular payment provider platforms. That's a mouthful, but which one is best? Well, in this video, I'll be comparing them head to head on the 3 key metrics that you need to be considering if you are looking for a payments platform. So let's hop right in. And before we do, I've got links at the top of the description to both of them if you want to sign up for either and support the channel in the process. So diving in, criteria number 1 is versatility. So both platforms basically address the issue that occurs when you want to pay for something using one kind of payment method and the person receiving the payment wants to receive it using a different kind of payment method. So to give some context to that, let's say your landlord wants to receive a paper check, but you want to pay on your credit card. Or let's say a business supplier wants a wire transfer, but you want to pay on your debit card. These are the kinds of scenarios where you would use a platform like Melio or a platform like Plastiq to allow you to facilitate this transaction while still being able to use the payment method that you would like. And one of the most common use cases of both of these platforms is using credit cards to pay for things that you couldn't ordinarily use a credit card to pay for. Whether you want the points that a credit card can earn you for spending on these large purchases, whether you're looking for the perks and the protections, there's a lot of reasons why you might want to use a credit card for something that the other person wouldn't want to accept a credit card for. And because both of these do this in virtually the exact same way and they're pretty much the same from a functionality standpoint, the winner in this category is going to go to both of them. But while both products do roughly the same thing, one of the biggest distinctions is going to be how much you pay for that thing, which brings us to criteria number 2, which is pricing. And this is going to be broken down into monthly fees, credit and debit card fees, and bank transfer fees. So when it comes to monthly fees, with Melio, very simple. There is no monthly fee to use the platform and you get full functionality without paying anything. With Plastiq, on the other hand, there is a free plan and there is a $59 per month plan. By paying, you're basically able to get access to adding an unlimited number of users and a lot more integrations that are not available on the free plan. But it should be noted that pretty much everything you're paying for here is available on Melio absolutely for free. Next, let's look at card transaction fees. So with Plastiq, you're looking at a flat 2.85% fee on all card transactions, whether it is a credit card or a debit card. On Melio, it's going to be a little bit higher, just slightly, at 2.9%. So that's a difference of $5 for every $10,000 of card spending that you're doing. So on a small scale, if you're only sending a few $1,000s here and there, you're really only looking at a couple dollars of difference on this point. But if you're sending hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, this could start to be a significant difference, even though it is only 0.05%. And lastly, looking at bank transfer fees, both platforms do support free ACH transfers all throughout the US and free check disbursements. However, international payments are going to incur additional fees on both platforms, which we'll get to in just a second. But before we do, we need to determine who the winner is for this category. And personally, I give it to Melio because they basically give you all of their features and all their functionality without you having to pay a dime. Whereas to get the full functionality of Plastiq, you're paying about $60 per month. But getting back into international payments, both platforms are going to charge you for wire transfers internationally. With Melio, you're looking at a $20 charge for every international wire that you want to send. With Plastiq, it's going to be almost twice as much at $39 per international wire. Plastiq also charges for domestic wire transfers at only $5 per wire, whereas on Melio, these are going to be absolutely free. Now, if you are running international payments on either of these, it's important to know which countries are going to be supported. Now, Melio currently supports 55 different countries, and I'll put a list of all of them on screen right now. Plastiq also supports a very similar list at about 50 different countries, but where Melio comes out a little bit ahead is they allow you to send international batch payments. So if you're sending out a lot of payments to international people, it's going to be easier to do on Melio than it is on Plastiq. The last important thing for sending international payments is the exchange rates. Now with Melio, it's going to be very simple. They just only allow you to send funds in US dollars, and they're not going to exchange your funds for any other currency. With Plastiq, on the other hand, you can send in US dollars and the recipient can receive in over 20 different currencies. Now, I ran a few samples on the calculator that they give for this on their website, and there appears to be around a 1% markup for most currency exchanges. That means if you want to send $1,000 on Plastiq and you want your recipient to get those funds in euros, they're probably going to receive about $960 worth of euros because of that 2.85% transaction fee and then that 1% or so exchange rate markup. So from an international payment standpoint, I would say that it's a tie. Melio gets a point because their wire transfer fee is about half as much as Plastiq's, but Plastiq gets a point because they'll allow the recipient to receive their funds in a variety of different currencies. So as you can probably tell at this point, these services are very comparable in a lot of ways, and both have fairly good reputations. I will say Plastiq's is not quite as stellar due to some complaints about customer service, but in general, both companies are quite reputable. The overall winner here is definitely Melio though, because the platform is much more versatile and generally it's going to be more affordable. However, there are specific use cases where Plastiq could make sense, like if you want your recipient to get their funds in a different currency. Again, there are links to both at the top of the description that help to support the channel, and feel free to comment below with which one takes the cake for you. Best of luck out there, and I'll see you in the next video.